I'm Chris West. In this video I'm going to be talking about playing harmonics on the double bass, and I love playing harmonics on the double bass. They extend our range at the top and give us a beautiful additional colour. You can use them to help tune your instrument, and they crop up all the time in orchestral pieces by composers like Ravel, and there are lots of solo pieces with cute tunes on harmonics by everybody from Dittersdorf and Bottesini right through to the present day. I'm going to explain how you can find all the harmonics on a double bass. I think people sometimes think they almost appear by magic. If you understand how they work, then it's going to be easy for you to find them and play them. In this video, I'm going to talk about the natural harmonics on just one string, the G string. The notes you can play as natural harmonics are the notes in the harmonic series. That's the same series of notes you can play on a brass instrument without using valves. They're the notes where the frequency is a whole number times the frequency of the fundamental, which in our case is the open string. So there they are. You'll see that the notes get closer together the higher you get. There's one note in the bottom octave, two in the next, four in the next, and in theory there are 8 in the top octave after that, but I'm only going to show us up to this one, which is the 12th one in our series. So what's happening when I play a harmonic? When I'm playing an ordinary note, the string is vibrating the widest at the middle of the string, and the only stationary points are at the ends, at the nut and at the bridge. But if I touch the string at the halfway point, it forces the string to vibrate in a different way. Now it's vibrating like this. And the string is stationary underneath my finger. This point is called a node. I'm playing the second note in our harmonic series, an octave above the open string. To get the next note in the series, a perfect fifth above that, I can touch 1/3 of the way along the string, and I can do that from either end. So it's here above this D, and above this D too. And if you look closely, you'll see that whichever node I touch, the string is stationary at both points, because it's vibrating like this in 3 equal lengths. It might be easy to see that when I play the E string. So that's what you're doing when you play a harmonic. You're getting the vibrations of the string to split into equal lengths. Okay, so let's move on to the 4th note in the series. Remember, when we halved the string, it caused the pitch to rise by an octave. So if you make the string vibrate into 4 equal lengths, that's the same as halving it twice. So now we're going to get the G 2 octaves above the open string. We can achieve that by touching the string 3/4 of the way down at the G itself, or by touching it here 1/4 of the way down at the C. Notice that there's another node at 2/4, but that's the same as a half, so we can't force the string to vibrate in 4 equal lengths by touching it at 2/4. The next note in the harmonic series is this B, a major 3rd higher. It's the 5th note in the series, so we have to get the string to vibrate in 5 equal lengths. And we can do that by touching the nodes at 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, or 4/5. So where are those nodes? Where do they come? Well, the answer is they come over any note that has that top B in its harmonic series. So the B below, the E, a perfect fifth below that, and then the B that's 2 octaves below, and then the open G is a third below that. And if the idea of the harmonic series under a note reminds you of Jacob Collier and his negative harmony, then that might have something to do with the fact that Jacob used to come to me for double bass lessons when he was a kid. Maybe if you study these double bass harmonics, you could become a musical genius like Jacob Collier too. The other thing I'd like you to notice is that those notes, E, B and G, that lie under the high B, form part of a minor arpeggio. And that's because this section of the harmonic series is the inversion of a minor arpeggio. The harmonic series has a perfect fourth, a major third and a minor third going up, and the minor arpeggio has the same intervals coming down. Now we know that these notes are the same distance apart on the fingerboard, so that explains the minor arpeggio secret that I talked about in my video about arpeggios. Carrying on, the 6th note in the harmonic series is going to be an octave above the 3rd note, so it's another D. And this time the nodes come on a G minor arpeggio. Above the open G we have B flat, D, G, and then the 2 Ds. But as with the quarter string harmonics, you can't get this top D to sound at all these notes. It works at 5/6 and 1/6, but 2/6 is the same as a third, 3/6 is the same as a half, and 4/6 is the same as 2/3, so they don't work. If you want to sound a harmonic in this area of the bass, you have to touch 2 of the nodes, like this, or like this. And if you've watched my video on arpeggios, you may remember we played some of the notes in those, like this. The 7th note in the harmonic series is a flat F. We do use it occasionally, and ideally you should try and pull the string to make it a bit more in tune. We're dividing the string in 7, and in theory you could make the note sound from any of the 6 nodes. In fact, I have had some students who don't like stretching out for that top F who play this one an octave lower on the thumb. But as this note is so out of tune, we don't often play any of the other nodes, so I'll leave you to work out where they all are. Now 8 is 2 times 2 times 2, so the 8th note in the harmonic series is 3 octaves above the open string. Now the nodes here come on a sharp A, a C minor arpeggio, and then the 2 Gs. And in theory, I should be able to sound this top G by touching at 1/8, 3/8, 5/8, and 7/8. So let's see if I can do that. So here is 1/8, which is the sharp A. 3/8 is an E flat. 5/8 should come on a C. And 7/8 is the G itself. But the problem is, right up here, these harmonics are getting pretty close together now. So it's safer and more stable if you always try and touch 2 nodes. So I hardly ever play this top G without putting my thumb on the G below. Or I could also play it like this, with G and C a fifth apart. They just ring better than if I just try and touch one note at a time. And the same applies for the 9th, 10th and 12th note in the series, A, B and D. Although rather than stretch all the way down there and get my fingers dirty in the rosin, more often than not, I play those ones with the pair of fingers a fifth apart. And of course, All those three can be played in lots of other ways, touching either one note or two, but I'm not going to go through all those now. I hope that by now you can see how to work out where they all come in the way I've been doing it for the other notes in the harmonic series. The one I've left out, the 11th note, that one, that's midway between C and C sharp, so it's not much use unless you're playing specialist modern music. So now you know how to play any natural harmonic on a G string. And you can transfer that knowledge to play the natural harmonics on the other strings. They're all in the same place. If you'd like to learn about how to play these harmonics in context, my book on thumb position, Reaching the Heights, has several pages of exercises, examples, photos and technical tips. And if you just want a basic dictionary showing you all the ways of playing any given note as a harmonic, my little guide to bass harmonics is available for Kindle or as a PDF download for just a couple of quid. Now that guide also includes artificial harmonics, and in the next video I'll be looking at them. But bye for now.